a joyful group today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Parish, Plymouth. My name is Nicolette. I will be your friendly worship associate for today. I use she and they pronouns. If you are new to the building, if you're looking for anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, to one of the greeters, or any member of the congregation who looks like they've been here for a while. We usually have little name tags, so it's helpful. The theme for today's service is how are you going and how do you get there? And it will be done by our Reverend Art Lavoie. The first part of our service is recorded. Following the benediction, the recording will end. Then we go into our candles section for everyone's ease and of comfort and for any privacy issues. We do not record that so we can just be more candid and together as a community. This service, as all of our services, will be posted on Facebook and on our YouTube page, and we also share our services on public local access television. Today's live music will be performed by Emily Browder. And because our services change from week to week in terms of both format and content, we do invite you to come back as what we see today you may not see again for quite some time. And if you are a visitor, we also encourage you to sign our guest book. This allows you to get emails and stay up to date with what's going on in the community, hear any of our news, things like that. We also have masks available for anyone who wishes to have one. If that is the case, we usually keep them near the little table out in the front lobby. If not, please, again, grab myself, someone who looks like they've been here for a while. We know where the masks are, we're happy to hand those out. Today, we are doing a coffee hour after the service, so we do invite you to stay for fellowship. And if you're interested in helping out with coffee hour, whether it is helping set up or providing the tasty treats that we all enjoy, please talk to myself or to Julia Thomas at the end of the service. We are more than grateful for anything that you're able to give. And with that, one final reminder, it is 2023, so I assume most of us, if not all of us, have cell phones. We do ask that you put them on silent or turn them off. I'll be doing that the moment I'm done reading off of my phone. Do as I say, not as I do. That way we can enjoy the service and not worry about any unnecessary disruptions. Wherever you go, whomever you love, whatever you believe, wherever you are on your journey, let us walk together this hour. And now a quick welcome for Mark.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Art Lavoie, and I would like to offer a special welcome to anyone who is watching online. And we are So happy to have you part of our First Parish Plymouth Unitarian Universalist community this morning. If you want more information about this congregation or about Unitarian Universalism or want to get a hold of me, please visit our website, firstparishplymouthuu.org, and you can find some information there. We also have a new website that is in the process of being developed. I will talk a little bit more about that in my sermon this morning. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing the service online. And we are so thrilled that the sun is shining today.
Our call to worship is "You Are Welcome Here" by Reverend Allison Hall. Can everyone hear me okay? Perfect. We gather this morning on the brink of a new congregational year. Some of us fresh from summer adventures, from wind and waves and sunshine. Some of us come broken down from summer losses, from tears and pain and heartache. Some of us come renewed from summer rest, from peace and solitude and contemplation. Some of us are wearied from summer monotony, from work and heat and sameness. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever gifts and needs you bring, you are welcome here. Now for our hymn, Woyoya.
So we all have this insert with the lyrics, and this is going to be an a cappella altogether. So what I'd like to do is teach it to you with a little bit of repetition. So give ourselves a chance to just get into these phrases comfortably so that they just start to feel part of us, okay? So I'm just going to do a little phrase and then we're going to do it a few times so that you don't have to think about it, okay? So it goes, we are going, heaven knows where. All together. We are going, heaven knows where. Again. We are going, heaven knows where. Got it. We are going. We are going. Again. We are going. That's beautiful. But we know within. But we know within. Again. But we know within. All right, so let's put that together. And sounds like people are also familiar, so we're just going to sing through the whole thing, which includes a little bridge that we didn't go over, but it'll be fun.
Okay. I'm ready.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, and we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will
And please join me in the child's lighting words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you.
Yes, you did.
I
You don't have yours?
can try to get my script. All right. Here's the way of beginning first.
Just start.
You're the new family.
Huh?
Okay. Hi, I'm the greeter today. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. We just moved here from Alabama.
Oh, wow. Sign our guest book, please, and we're going to put you on the mailing list right away. Now, let me tell you where to sit. Oh, by the way, you don't need to dress fancy like that here. We are much more casual. Sometimes we even wear jeans.
Okay. So I have a question. What do you think happened at the end of the service?
Coffee hour.
That can happen.
Any other ideas? Never came back. Now, scene number 2.
Scene number 2. Oh.
Your baby is fussy.
Baby is fussy. Oh dear.
People keep looking over at the noisy baby. You know, we have a nursery. You can
I
take your baby.
just need to rock her a little and she'll quiet down.
Oh, okay, well, there's a rocker in the nursery.
What do you think happened at the service?
I don't think you made it through the service.
I never came back with my baby or anybody else.
PTSD over here.
Everyone says, oh, we love that sound. That's a great sound. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know it like that
And my dad.
How about your dad? All right, seat number 3.
She's number 3. Let's pretend we can sit in our feet so they can see us. Okay.
I'm a guest, sitting in a pew.
Next to a regular member.
Music is starting. Do you have a piano? Thank you. What do you think happened?
Right. Same conclusion. So I think what's important for all of us to know is that we need to welcome people who come to the church by letting them know that they matter, that they're cared about. However they dress, let them know they found a place they can call home. In this congregation, we love babies. Yeah, but you were like that once yourself, my dear. You know, families and babies and all kinds of people, every configuration, are really important. And if we act like we're put out by somebody, or we're not inviting and accepting, they will leave and never come back.
Okay.
Reverend Karen LeBlanc wrote this. This isn't a place of worship, just a place of worship. This isn't just a fellowship of like minds. This isn't just a Sunday morning filled with spirit and topped off with coffee and cookies. This is our church, our congregation, where we are building beloved community, where we are opening ourselves to each other, where we trust and love, rise and fall together. This is where we feel safe. This is where we know we are welcomed. This is where we belong. And now I will take the children on a journey of learning and discovery.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Today's reading is an excerpt from Governance and Ministry, 2nd edition, by Dan Hotchkiss, page 1, in case you wanted to read it. Religion changes people. No one touches holy ground and stays the same. Religious leaders stir the pot by pointing to the contrast between life as it is and life as it should be, urging us to close that gap. Religious insights provide the handhold that people need to criticize injustice, rise above self-interest, and take risks to achieve healing in a wounded world. Religion at its best is no friend to the status quo. Organization, on the other hand, conserves. Institutions capture, schematize, and codify persistent patterns of activity. People sometimes say institutions are conservative and smile as if they had said something clever. But conservatism is what institutions do. A well-ordered congregation lays down schedules, puts out policies on paper, places people in positions, and generally brings order out of chaos. Organizations can be flexible, creative, and iconoclastic, but only by resisting some of their most basic instincts. No wonder organized religion is so difficult. Congregations create sanctuaries where people can nurture and inspire each other, with results no one can predict. The stability of a religious institution is a necessary precondition to the instability religious transformation brings. The need to balance both sides of the paradox, the transforming power of religion and the stabilizing power of organization, makes leading congregations a unique challenge. And now for a musical reflection, let this be a house of peace.
Of nature, of humanity, of sorrow.
Happy New Year. No, I haven't lost my mind, not yet anyway. And I don't say those words facetiously. Happy New Year. This weekend marks Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish celebration of a new year. Specifically, it is now the year 5784 on the Jewish calendar. For us, we just started a new church year with our celebration of water communion last week. So this is a time of beginnings. Rosh Hashanah also begins a week-long time of reflection on one's life and future, known as the Days of Awe. During this week, we are asked to reflect on our lives and make amends for wrongs we have done, and look at who we aspire to be in the future, or at least in the next year. So I thought I would do some of the latter this morning with you and reflect on the near future. There's been a lot bubbling up over the summer. Many ideas and plans about what we could do here and how we want to tackle the challenges that lie ahead. There are days when we seem to be moving in several different directions at the same time. And I'd like to share what's going on and how we can prioritize and thoughtfully handle all that's happening here. I love the image that Jean picked for the order of service, because the kid and the dog, they seem a little bit lost and a little bit unsure, and that's, I think, some of where we are this morning. We are emerging from the worst of the COVID pandemic. Or we have emerged for some of us. It appears this virus will always be with us, hopefully in forms that are more manageable and less frightening and life-threatening. Yet there are people with long COVID and compromised immune systems who continue to struggle with their health and well-being. We need to be aware of them and make sure that they are also welcome among us. The pandemic turned our lives upside down. I don't think we fully dealt with the emotional impact of what these last nearly 4 years have done. But we do know on a visceral level that we missed a chunk of our lives, and we naturally want to get it back. We forget that this might not be possible to get it all back and to do everything we had hoped to do. We need to grieve the loss of that precious time. Julia did a service on that in July. I think it might be helpful to set out some times this fall, maybe a Sunday after church or two, for us to have a deeper conversation about what we've lost and how we might move forward and what has happened to us personally. I also know there is some anxiety here about the future of ministry. Last spring, I started telling people that I would retire from full-time ministry in 2 years, in June of 2025. I was in serious discernment about this last year. I'll be turning 70 that spring and feel that this is a good time to step away from full-time work. It's been an honor and a joy to serve as your minister. And stepping back is a difficult decision, but one that I had to make. You are a healthy congregation, and I have no doubt that you'll be able to navigate the path forward. So here's a bit about what might be coming up. I think growth in numbers, in health, and in vitality needs to be the overarching lens through which you view the future. You need more members in order to be more stable financially and to have a larger volunteer pool. You've been blessed in that you have a range of ages and backgrounds. There are families involved here. There are wonderful children that are part of this congregation. That's a blessing that many churches don't have. But you do need to look at what kinds of programmatic and organizational changes you'll need to make to attract more people and move yourselves firmly into the 21st century. This comes at a time when some of your communication tools are in transition. Rick McDonald, who has been managing the website for the last 10 years, is stepping down from that role, and Rachel Quinn has volunteered to step forward. She's got amazing ideas. Rick and I met with her, and she was saying things that were like, sounds good, it's way above our heads, but it sounds good. She is designing a whole new website that will appear on a new platform, and when it's ready, the current website will disappear. If they were here, I'd thank both of them publicly, and I when you see them both, Rick for his 10 years of service and Rachel for taking over. It's a wonderful thing. So we want to establish a kind of new committee that I'm calling the Outreach and Growth Committee to work with Rachel and help you all develop policies and strategies for outreach that will include social media and some research into successful approaches to growth that other churches are using. The transition team and I will continue to be involved with the development of your mission, vision, and covenant, and will soon have something to present to the congregation. This team also functions as a committee on ministry and observes the emotional and spiritual health of the church. These are the people that you can talk to if there is some conflict or concern that you don't feel comfortable sharing with me. Shelley, Joe, and Paul are no longer able to serve on the committee, so Cheryl, Linda, and I will look for a couple more people that will need to be approved by the parish committee. There is a great need for more programs for adults and families. You know, if you look at the churches that are growing and thriving, it's the evangelical churches. The Assembly of God that meets here 4 nights a week. They're here, this is the major part of their social life and social circle. We can't be limited to Sunday mornings. The Friday night postcard writing campaign sponsored by the Social Action Committee has been a great source of socializing along with making a difference in the larger world. There's been some conversation about doing more social activities on Friday nights, such as potlucks, game nights, movies, etc. Wouldn't it be great if you grew to the point where there would be some social kind of thing happening here every Friday, late afternoon and evening? Late afternoon for the families with young children, and evening for the working adults. How do we begin? And who among you might want to help organize some of that? We have a great spiritual development program for the children. We need to develop programs for adults as well. Last year, we talked about continuing the small group process by establishing ongoing groups that we would call chalice circles. These are groups of 6 to 8 people who would meet monthly to reflect on and discuss the theme of the month. This month's theme, for example, is the gift of welcome. Deb and I demonstrated a bit of that earlier. October's theme is the gift of heritage, and on and on. There is also talk about doing book groups. Vaughn has mentioned to me that he'd like to lead a group that focuses on adult spirituality. I'd like to do something with books on anti-racism, LGBTQ issues, climate change, and other current social justice issues. As some of you might remember, I led a couple of courses before the pandemic. And I'd like to do one on the intro to the Bible for Unitarian Universalists this winter. This was very popular when I've done it in other churches, and many UUs would like a better understanding of how different scientific disciplines have come to understand what that collection of writings is and how they can be interpreted in the modern world. But we can't do all of this at once. The parish committee and I are having a retreat next weekend. There will be a time on Saturday morning when church leaders and others are invited to join us, and all of this will be discussed and prioritized. excuse me. There's also a committee forming, more like a task force because it's short term, to review and rewrite the church bylaws. They're seriously out of date. They're in need of a complete overhaul. There's my book. I was waving this around earlier. This is the book from which our reading this morning was taken. I bought 20 copies of that, or the church bought 20 copies of that, which I am handing out to church leaders, committee chairs, parish committee folks, or people wanting to be involved in the process. Governance and Ministry by the Reverend Dan Hotchkiss. Dan is a UU minister who has designed a model for how a 21st century religious organization should be organized. He consults with congregations, not only UU, but of every denomination all over the country. Sometimes even helping churches to close and join with another congregation when that becomes necessary. But his book is a great model for us to use and clearly outlines some of the issues of what is in the minister's portfolio, minister and staff, and what is in the lay leader's portfolio, how those intersect and not. And it's a great resource for us. So, there's also been a lot of conversation this summer about this building and how it doesn't serve your needs very well. How it does and doesn't. There's been talk over the years of selling this and finding a better space somewhere else that has better layout, more parking. To deal with this whole range of issues, the parish committee will be establishing a futures task force. The people who are part of that will be charged with gathering information about everything from the cost and design of renovating this building, your ongoing relationship with the Mayflower Meeting House, parking issues, what it would mean to stay, and what it would mean to relocate. Please talk to Julia or Debbie, the co-chairs of the parish committee, if you'd like to serve on the task force or want more information about that. I know that people don't come to church, don't join the church to volunteer. That's not why you came here. And we try not to ask people who are new. We don't jump on them right away and say, well, what committee would you like to be on? But we are going to need a larger volunteer pool to get some of this done, and also on Sunday mornings. Volunteering is part of the service that we give back to a congregation. So I'm going to invite all members and friends to volunteer for something one Sunday per month. There will be more greeters needed when we return to the meeting house in November, as well as someone that can come in early to set up mics and help with setting up all the equipment that we'll need for music and for filming. Julia always needs help with coffee hour.
Julia always needs help.
Setting up, cleaning up, bringing snacks. And there will be some Sundays when Deb will need help with the children's program. And there will soon be a sign-up sheet for Sundays in November, where people can sign up for different tasks. I apologize about there being so much of the nuts and bolts of church life and organization, and less about spiritual issues here this morning. But it's all important information that has to be shared, because open and honest communication is a spiritual value that will always be essential to successfully accomplishing any of the tasks that are needed to help this congregation thrive in this new era. Last winter and spring, many of you participated in a series of small groups where you talked about different elements that would be part of your covenant with each other. As I've mentioned before, our Unitarian Universalist churches have a religious system that is not based on a creed, a set of shared beliefs. We are organized around covenant, an understanding of how we are in relationship with each other and with the holy. Our idea of covenant has biblical roots, and in more modern time, in more modern history, goes back to the Mayflower Covenant, the organizing document of this congregation. Covenants were used as the founding documents in all Pilgrim and Puritan churches in the 17th and 18th centuries. They're also among the earliest documents that honor the involvement and the voice of ordinary people in leadership and decision-making. There are covenantal ideas that you spoke of in your small groups that will be essential to the decision-making process that will be happening in these next couple of years. Ideas such as open and honest communication, respectful listening to each other's ideas and concern, assuming everyone's good intentions, focusing on the greater good, being welcoming of new people and inviting everyone into your spiritual home. At this point, we don't know exactly where we're going to end up. But the journey is a spiritual practice. And if you follow these principles, it will truly be a happy new year and a new beginning for all at First Parish in Plymouth. Amen. And blessed be. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing prayer. We would be number 318. Be grateful. That hymn was written at another time of transition. There was this transition from an old form of youth groups that happened in UU churches called Why Are You New? Young Unitarian Religious Universalists, and a new form of youth group that was needing to emerge. When at a General Assembly, when all of that was discussed and there was some conflict, and Sam Wright had written this hymn as a way to bring people together and to solidify a new understanding of how that would happen. I met Sam once, and I can tell you stories about him. He spent, when he retired, he would do ministry somewhere in the summer in Arizona. He spent in the winter, and then spent the summers in Alaska, in a little cabin somewhere. That is the story, and this hymn is a wonderful way to bring us together during times of transition, even when the way forward isn't too clear, and there may be conflicts that emerge in that process. So we celebrate the journey today, and the muddling along that we might have to do, and the tensions that might arise, but also the wonderful agreements and insights that we will all have about how to move forward as First Parish Plymouth in the 21st century. Amen and blessed be.